G'day there, it's Jono here from The Hive. In this quick video I just want to explain this concept of TVT when we're talking about coaching relationships. And this is particularly important when you're thinking about how do I actually show up in a relationship as a coach with my team members, or how do I get the most out of a coaching relationship with my coach, or how do I contribute as a coach as part of a coaching group. And so TVT actually stands for trust, value, tension. And the thing to keep in mind with this is that all these three things are actually important when thinking about a coaching relationship. Sure, you need to have trust. Remember the trust equation: credibility plus reliability plus intimacy. You need those three things divided by self-interest. So it's not just about you as the coach, it's about the coachee, the person being coached. You need to be able to provide value. And again, what we say about coaching is this, that it's about a relationship, trust, integrity, honesty. It's about the client's needs, or if you're a part of a group, it's about the needs of the other people. It's an exploration of possibilities. It's nuanced, it's big picture stuff. And so all of that is about the value and the trust part of the equation. But the other thing which is interesting, which is important to keep in mind, is the appropriate amount of tension. So this is important in a coaching relationship. It's very different to a relationship, say for example, with a friend. So if you imagine the levels of trust, value and tension in your relationship with friends and family, or your mum or something like that. Yes, hopefully there is a high level of trust, a high level of value in the relationship. But if you're hanging out with somebody and having a good time, there's not necessarily a high level of tension. And perhaps with friends and family, it's not the arena to be looking at hard business decisions. You know, you're there to have fun with a friend. Now, where you need to actually avoid in the tension space is a high level of tension, but low level of providing value and low level of trust, because that's in the space of being a bully or a micromanager or just being a really hypercritical person. The key to a coaching relationship is that you do have the high level of trust, you do provide a high level of value, and as appropriate, you are willing to ramp up the level of tension as appropriate, because your job as a coach is to help the person that you are coaching reach their potential. And to do that, sometimes you actually do need to ramp up the level of tension, particularly if the person is, or if you're picking up that the person is just telling a story. And perhaps, as often happens when we're coaching people, somebody says, you know what, this thing about my practice is really important. I've decided, yes, that is a practice worth reaching for, worth striving for. And it's sometimes, as appropriate, your job to call them out if they're doing things that are going to undermine getting to that big picture vision, or if they're just not showing up in a way that's appropriate for actually doing what they said was important in the first place. Because we have this coaching mantra here at The Hive, which is to comfort the troubled. And of course, if you're going through a really tough time, you know, something outside the practice, maybe there's an illness, whatever, that's not the time to ramp up the tension. But the other part of this is trouble the comfortable. So if you're resting on your laurels when you said you actually really want something, as a good coach, it's appropriate at that point to ramp up the tension a little bit and call somebody out on how they're actually showing up and behaving. So something to keep in mind when you are either coaching your team members or when you're trying to get the most out of your coaching relationship yourself with your coach, or when you're part of a group coaching program.